Testing. It's dark. It's gloomy. It's Sunday night.
It's smoky.
Which means Monday beckons. Ugh. Anyway, good evening, ladies and gents, from the mid-sack, upper sack, lower sack, upper mid-sack, upper whatever, lower upper sack, wherever you want to call us tonight. I'm RJ. That is Tom, the man, the myth, the legend, Izzo. Welcome to IDD. That is I Don't Disagree, for those of you keeping score at home. And we've got a very interesting show tonight. Starting off the week with a few bangs, dingers, dongs, bombs, whatever you want to call it. There's a bloodbath ensuing up there in the cathedral known as Fenway Park. The Sox and the Spanks are currently tied at 6 in the bottom of the 5th. And they are spanking that ball over the yard. I see they'd probably give $1 million to the first pitcher who can go a clean inning. Because right now they are just throwing haymakers, which they were doing on Thursday night last time we were talking to you. That ended at 6-5.
That's right.
But only one guy was doing the hitting. Well, that guy ain't in the lineup tonight, Mr. Devers. He's not even there. Okay, he's there in spirit. What the Sox are doing, the Sox are down 6-2. So now it's 6-6. So this is what these teams do, and this is when baseball is fun, when the oldest rivalry in the sport is doing this. So we'll see what happens. We'll be monitoring throughout the night. My man, Feel Good Tommy is gone. I'm glad we had him. I'm glad he was here. I hope we see him again. I'm going to get him back because we love Feel Good Tommy here. We love the Feel Good edition. It's not the Feel Good without Feel Good Tommy, but if you saw that game today, you know why Feel Good Tommy is MIA right now. Okay, now we have bitter, brash, and angry Tom, the one that we've come to know, love, and loathe at times. But he's here, and he should be here because the Mets dropped a heartbreaker in 10 tonight, or today rather. That was a 4 o'clock first pitch today.
1 o'clock.
1 o'clock, I'm sorry, 1 o'clock.
1:40.
1:40 to be exact. So, whatever. The bottom line is they blew it in the 10th after the Mets starter, whose name escapes me, but I'm sure Tom will bring him up, went toe-to-toe with probably the best pitcher in baseball and kept that game scoreless after 9, which if you had told anyone who's a Mets fan that was going to happen, they would have taken it all day long, not thinking what was going to happen at that. So I know, I'm trying to be positive. But anyway, because the fact is that it wasn't about pitching. It was about the fact that the Mets had 6-7 hits. And they were 0 for 7 with runners in scoring. They can't hit. So at least they couldn't today. So we'll start with Tom, because I know he's been stewing probably for about 3 or 4 hours on this. We're also going to touch on football tonight. It is July 10th, ladies and gentlemen. Football, the NFL is right around the corner. And we always love it when it's right around the corner because it's time to ratchet that talk up tonight. Got a lot of stuff to talk about. Schedules are out. So we're looking forward to what looks like what's going to be a very interesting season in the NFL. When is it not interesting in the NFL? It's one of the things we love about it. So I'm going to give the floor to Tom. Again, this is bitter, brash, angry, loathing Tom. He's here tonight, and he should be. So we're going to let him have at it, get it off his chest, and then we'll see where the carcasses lie when it's over. Thomas, it's all you, buddy.
So, yeah. Last time we talked, the Mets had beaten the Marlins 10-0 in the first of a 4-game series. I was hopeful that they could win 3 out of 4 from the Marlins because tomorrow they start a 3-game series in Atlanta with the Braves, who have been chasing them down like LeBron James did Andre Iguodala in the finals to block that shot and save the championship.
That was a great play.
It's a great play.
That was a great play. I wouldn't put Atlanta. Well, Atlanta's the world champs. Yeah, you're all right. Go ahead.
So, yeah, the Mets, a walk-off victory in Cincinnati, not a walk-off, an extra inning victory in Cincinnati on Wednesday. Blew out the Marlins 10-0 on Thursday. Lost to the Marlins on Friday. Last night, Saturday night, they beat the Marlins in extra innings on an error. And this was the first time the Mets had won on a walk-off error when they were down with 2 outs in the 9th since Game 6 of the 1986 World Series, when Bill Buckner let the ball go through his legs.
So you're going to drag me into your misery?
No, I'm just saying. The Mets won on a walk-off error when they were down a run with 2 outs in extra innings for the first time since Game 6 of the World Series in 1986. So, I was pissed most of that game because the Mets, again, couldn't hit. Although I guess they hit a little bit. But they ended up winning that game on an error. And then today, Sandy Alcantara for the Marlins, best pitcher in the league. He's had like 7 or 8 straight starts going 7 innings. He went 7 innings, shut the Mets out. Taijuan Walker for the Mets, who got snubbed on the All-Star game, by the way.
Yes. Yes, he did.
He went 7, scoreless. So it was 0-0. The bullpens did well through the 9th. Now, we brought our closer in the 9th. He shut them down quick, and then we couldn't score in the 9th. So we go into the 10th, and the Mets bring in Tommy Hunter, who, dear God, I don't know what's happened to him, but the Mets made an error. Billy Hamilton was the free runner for the Marlins. He tried to steal third. Tomas Nido, the Mets catcher, tried to throw him out and threw the ball into left field. I mean, not even close. So the Marlins were up 1-0, which is like, okay, if they score 1 run, it's not a big deal. Hunter ends up getting 2 outs, man on first, and then he gives up 3 hits. And the Mets go down 2-0. And then they come up in the bottom of the 10th. Lindor has a chance with 2 men on. They got the tying runs on base, 2 outs, Lindor's up. He gets into a 2-0 count, swings at a ball in the dirt, swings at 2 sliders in off the plate, strikes out, game's over. While this is happening, the Braves are in extra innings with the Nationals. I think they went 2 or 3 innings past the 9th without scoring, both teams. And then the Braves walked it off. So now the Braves are a game and a half behind. The Mets are headed to Atlanta for a 3-game series. So, by Wednesday, the Mets might not be in first place anymore. By Tuesday, actually.
And that would mean...
That means the sky's falling.
Lord help us come Wednesday night, which will be our next episode show. I'm not trying to laugh about that. The team that's chasing them is the defending world champions, and they're starting to play like it.
They've been playing
for
about
a month and a half, basically. So it's been coming. The Mets, who I said at some point we're going to have a slump, or just this is timing. Would I be surprised if this went back and forth the rest of the season? No, I would not, because I think both teams are that good. I don't think it's a question of one team is bad. I think they're both good. And the thing about it is, whether the Mets win the division or end up in the wild card, I don't really know how much of an advantage it is.
It's a major advantage.
Is it really?
Is
it?
Yes, because
I don't know about
because
that.
the wild card is a game.
It's one game, yeah.
If you lose that game, you're not in the playoffs.
Is everyone a one-game play-in, or is it just the bottom 4 to play in?
No, so you have 3 wild card teams.
Yeah, are they all a one-game play-in?
No. So the bottom 2 teams play to see who plays in the wild card game.
Okay.
And then the winner of the wild card game goes to the playoffs.
Against what? The other 3 winners? Or
they go against the top team in the league.
Yeah, whoever that is. All right, so there's 3 division winners and there's 2 teams fighting for the wild card. They play
3 teams.
All right, so what's that other team doing?
So basically, you have 3 wild card teams. Mm-hmm. The best wild card team gets a bye from the first game.
Well, this is what if you're that team? What if the Mets are them?
Okay, they get a bye, but then they still have to play 1 game against the winner of the bottom 2 wild cards.
So it's a one. All right, that's what I'm asking. Okay.
So there's like 2 wild card games, basically.
That's how it works. To get to 4 teams.
To get to 4 teams.
All right. Okay.
So I mean, you really want to win your division.
Well, of course you do. But I mean, if you lose your division and you end up 25 games, 30 games over 500, and that means you're probably going to host the wild card game. So this is going to be on your field. What?
No, I was laughing at my movement.
Yeah, your movements.
Yeah, I'm trying to be positive here.
I'm not saying you shouldn't be upset about this, but
No, it's not that I'm upset.
because I understand when your pitcher, when the guy goes toe to toe with maybe the best pitcher in baseball, this guy's he's that good.
Yeah, he's amazing.
And you match him pitch for 9 innings.
You got to win that game.
You got to win that game. And I'd be mad about that.
Yeah, and I
told you that. I understand you being mad about that.
And I guess I'm disappointed because we could have lost 3 out of 4 if we don't win on a walk-off error.
Yeah.
I mean, and really it was 2 errors in a row because the Mets were down to their last out. They had a man on second, and this is Saturday night. Tomas Nido hits a ground ball down the third baseline, and the third baseman goes to pick it up, and it goes under his glove.
Yeah.
Now, he may not have thrown out Nido, but he would have kept the ball on the infield. Instead, Nido goes all the way to second. The runner from second scores.
Yeah.
And then the next guy up hits a comebacker, and the pitcher throws the ball, past first base,
Past
and the
first
guy
base.
from second scores. So, they had a chance to lose 3 out of 4 to the Marlins. Now they're headed to Atlanta. Starling Marte has groin tightness, so he might not play. Jeff McNeil is about to have a baby. He's going on paternity leave. Those are 2 all-stars right there. McNeil's an all-star. Marte's an all-star. And they're 2 of their most consistent hitters.
Yeah.
And the one thing the Mets haven't been doing is hitting.
Yeah.
So now you go face Atlanta, who all they do is hit bombs. They got 2 catchers with more than 10 home runs. I think they have 7 hitters with at least 10 home runs.
Yeah. I think they're second in the league to the Yankees in home
Probably.
runs. The Yankees were before the first pitch tonight up in Fenway. The Yankees had hit as a team 144 home runs. They were 12 ahead of the next, which I believe was the Braves. I believe the Braves were number 2.
And the Yankees have
home runs.
hit the most home runs in Yankee history before the break, I think, or like at this point in the season.
Yeah, I believe they have.
So it's. I'm not trying to be negative. It's just like it seems like everything's stacked against us going into this series.
Well, and it looks that way right now. On paper, it certainly looks that way. So what I always forget who's in and who's out of the lineup. We talked about this earlier about if you're a contender, you take care of the low-hanging fruit and you play 500, 500 or better against the upper echelon teams. So if I'm the Mets and I'm going into this series shorthanded like it appears they're going to be, my goal is don't get swept.
Right.
Don't get swept.
Right.
You get one there, to me that's a win. You get 2, it's.
And Scherzer pitches tomorrow night, so that's the one to get.
So you got Scherzer tomorrow night, that's a
get
problem.
that, and then maybe you split the second.
Maybe you split the next 2. Just don't get swept. You don't get swept. Given everything that all these, that to me would be a major win. So
just sucks.
It sucks because they missed an opportunity tonight, and that kid that pitcher couldn't have pitched a better game. He couldn't have. That's his A game, and he gave it to him when they needed it most. And they were 0 for 7 with runners in scoring position, which they didn't get a lot of chances. But again, they were playing the guy on the mound is the best pitcher maybe. So
for me, it was the final.
Yeah. I mean,
that was the final 3 innings.
That was a game that if they were going to win it, they were going to win it. 2-1, 3-2, something 1-0, whatever it was. So that's disheartening. That's discouraging. I understand that. And the worst part about it is Atlanta is waiting. So. And Atlanta's on a roll. So
they won 29 out of their last 36.
They're on a roll. This seems like the perfect storm. I would just say, realistically, you have to get one. Just get one. Get one, and you again. This is all about when these slumps and when these valleys hit you manage it. You manage it. So I would hope to get one. Scherzer's going tomorrow night. Looked pretty good the first time. Last time
it was
out,
amazing.
So there's no reason to think he's not going to pitch well tomorrow night.
Yeah, but he's not pitching against the Reds.
No, he's not. But the point is, Scherzer has pitched well against great teams before.
No doubt.
That's where you make your bones. That's why he's Max Scherzer, because he didn't just eat up the low-hanging fruit and get tattooed whenever he played an elite lineup. That's not what he does.
He's a great
That's not
pitcher.
what he does.
He's a competitor.
Yeah, that's not his MO. So, I mean, I would think he's going to keep them in the game and give them a chance. The bats have to be key. They have to have timely hitting. They have to get runners in scoring position over the plate, unlike today where they didn't, where they were 0 for. So those would be the keys tomorrow night for the Mets to get that first one and get that. Because I'll tell you right now, if the Mets get that whole series could hinge on who wins the first game. If the Mets win that first game, then they're only more jazzed up to go and try and win that series. If they have Scherzer on the mound and they just tank, then they're discouraged. They might get
That'll
swept.
be tough.
That'd
yeah.
be tough. So tomorrow's a big game for them. And it'll be fun to watch, and I love that there's exciting baseball to watch here in the doldrums. These are the doldrums of baseball of the season because everybody's waiting for a training camp to start for the NFL. But when you have all these teams that are good, this is when baseball's fun. And there's a lot of good teams out there this year, and a lot of them are in the same division. So to me, that's when baseball's most exciting. So to me, there's two ways to look at it, and I would look at it that way. I'd rather have exciting baseball than boring baseball when there's one team that's head and shoulders above the other, and you're just waiting for October. That's boring to me. So this is anything but boring, and so I think Tom would agree with me on that.
Like you said, if it'll be back and forth all summer, you'll take it. It just feels like for the past month and a half, it hasn't been back and forth.
Well, they had
It's
such
been
a
the
big
Braves
lead.
surging.
Yeah, they had such
and
a
the Mets just letting that lead slip away.
Yeah.
And it's frustrating, man. It's depressing.
Yeah, no, they were. The thing was, the Mets were so hot out of the gate.
I know.
I mean, it was just. They were on a record pace for a while there. I mean, it was to try and maintain that. I mean, what the Yankees are doing is they had their, they had their list of 5 greatest Yankee teams up there tonight, which made me want to puke. Because the other 4 who started out like this all went on to win the World Series. So there you go. So this one team, which is in the middle of their season, is the one that hasn't won the World Series yet. So that doesn't bode well for us, for the rest of the world. But
well, the Mets broadcasters brought something up on today's game. So this was in the 10th inning. They said the Marlins had 7 walk-off losses this year.
7.
The Mets were 7-0 in extra inning games. The Marlins had suffered 7 walk-off losses, and that was tied for the most in the majors with guess who?
The Yankees. The Red Sox. Yeah, I believe that.
The Red Sox have had 7 walk-off losses this year. So that and the Red Sox are still in the thick of it, even with that.
Yep.
So
right now, we're
2 on, no out.
We're going to transition to the Red Sox, who have got the leadoff guy on, and the second guy, Cordero, just walked. So we're in the bottom of the 6th, first and second, nobody up.
They got Aroldis Chapman pitching in the freaking 6th inning. Oh, he's about to implode.
And right now we have a guy at bat that I've never heard of, Reef Schneider.
Ref Schneider. He had a great game yesterday.
So he's up. Just don't hit a double play. Please don't hit into a double play.
No.
So right now that's looking very interesting up there in Boston.
They pinch hit Ref Schneider for Jackie Bradley.
Yeah, I don't understand. Well,
Ref Schneider had a really good day yesterday.
I think his average is somewhere around mine right now. Jackie
Ref Schneider's hitting 344.
Yeah, no, I understand. I just saw that popped up on the screen. So all right, they are 6-6, bottom of the 6th right now. They were down 6-2. This was looking pretty bleak. No Devers in the lineup. And then the Red Sox bats woke up. We have a J.D. Martinez sighting. I am happy to say the Stadies have found him. They have got him to Fenway Park. He hit one that hasn't landed yet.
Was he in Southie?
I don't know where he was.
He was robbing banks.
He might have been in Southie. He could have been in Eastie. Southie, East Boston, maybe Eastie.
Do they call it Eastie?
Yeah, they do. Eastie.
Is there a Northie? Or it's
North
called
End.
North End?
North End. No, it's just a North End.
Is there a Westie?
No. Westie's all rich people.
Eastie and Southie.
Eastie, Southie, and the North End. So he could have been in the North End getting some cannolis. I wouldn't have held that against him. But anyway, he hit one that hasn't landed yet, which brought them back into a tie. So it was nice to see him show up with Devers out of the lineup because they need him now more than ever.
Chapman's going to melt down.
So we'll see what happens here. Right now it's 1-1 on the pitch count. To Reef Schneider, we'll see what happens. The other thing about this is that Tampa Bay continues to lose, and so does Toronto. So somehow, they're still first place in the wild card right now.
Well, I was keeping an eye on that all weekend.
So
the Rays got swept by the Reds.
Yeah.
And the Blue Jays Did they lose today?
I believe they did.
Wow, the Blue Jays got swept by the Mariners.
By the Mariners. Yeah.
So while the Braves are up our ass,
Yeah.
the people chasing you are just like, you know what, Boston? You stay in the wild card.
As long as they feel bad because they know we're playing the Yankees. You know what? We're going to keep this. We're going to stay. We know who you're dealing with today. So
What a missed opportunity by those teams.
both those teams. Yeah.
I mean-
they were playing but bad teams. And how bad is Seattle? I mean,
They're not horrible.
They're not horrible,
but like,
you know.
you got to win at least a game. out
Yeah, you
there.
can't get swept by them. I mean, so Tom is giving a rating for every team right now that's coming out. He's just fired him off, getting to his point there. So if I suddenly fall over with my feet in the air, you know what to do. But anyway, it's 2-2 right now.
Chapman's gonna
2-2 to Reef Schneider right now. We'll see what happens here. Just don't hit into a double play. That's what if he
He's gonna walk him.
So right now the Red Sox, if they can somehow pull this one out to split with the best team in baseball, given where they're at with no Devers for 3 of these 4 games basically, and no Chris Sale yet, and still no closer on the roster.
Sale's supposed to pitch Tuesday, I think, right? That's what I heard last week.
No, we'll check that tonight. I think you're right.
After he had his meltdown in the minors,
Yeah.
that was supposed to be his last
he had a
start.
meltdown. He apologized. He bought everybody.
He walked the
expensive.
bases loaded.
He did. He called it. He walked the bases loaded. So there you go. So
Well,
the bases are now drunk up there.
So do you
and-
think Boone pulls him now? See, this is the funny thing about the Yankees right now. They're so far ahead. This game doesn't matter.
Not to them, it doesn't.
It doesn't matter to them.
It matters more to the Red Sox because of the wild card, because that's where they are.
The mound visit.
Yeah. Well, that's before he pitched it. He walked him. Well, he was before. So anyway.
Well, with the new rules, when you bring in a guy from the bullpen, he has to face 3 batters.
Yeah. Well, has he faced 3?
Yeah, he just loaded the bases, gave up a single and 2 walks.
So, and here comes Dahlback right now, who's 0-2, 0 for 2 tonight. At the
That
plate.
just over the Mendoza.
Yeah. So,
I can't tell if they're pulling him or they're just talking to him. Probably just talking to him.
You gotta get somebody in the pen warming up. So we haven't done that yet. At least I didn't hear about activity in the bullpen anyway.
And if I were them, I'd just be like, hey, Araldis, you need to get out of this inning.
Yeah, seriously. I mean, but this is where if you're Boston, what you got to do is start to manufacture runs here. Of course, I'd love a dinger over the monster, but I would settle for. They got to get at least 2 runs out of this. They got to get at least 2.
I
You can't have the
agree.
bases loaded with nobody out and not get 2 runs.
Oh, without a doubt.
You got to get at least 2 runs.
But I would argue, facing so they didn't pull Araldis.
No.
Facing the Yankees, they need to get all 3 of those runs in.
I'm saying at least 2.
I'm saying they
They need more, but you better get 2 minimum.
Oh, yeah.
If you get less than 2, we got a real problem.
Yeah, I mean, you hit 2 sack flies
Yeah.
here, and hope that on the first sack fly, the guy from second moves to third.
Yeah, so I mean, Dahlback's up. We'll see what he does. He is. He's
1-1.
He's 0 for 2. He's 210 batting.
He's got 6 bombs.
Yeah, but he bats 210. Just hit.
He might run into one.
Let's hope so. Ball and a strike on him. So look, this is the way I think this is going to go for the remainder of the season, at least, unless the Red Sox do something at the trade deadline to distance themselves from the pack. And for me, that would be one of 2 things. Number 1 would be a damn closer. Get a freaking closer or get another frontline starter.
I wonder where they could get a closer.
I don't know, but they got to do something because I just don't. You can't win a World Series without a closer.
Have the Diamondbacks had Melanson?
I haven't seen. At least I haven't
Is he
seen
gonna-
it. I mean, anything's possible, but I don't recall seeing a team win the World Series that doesn't have a legitimate closer. I mean, they have a lot of other things too. That's the only thing they have, but that's among the things they have. That's one of them.
You gotta be able to lock it
You
down.
got to be able to lock it down. The best guy in a Red Sox uniform, I think, has 6 saves. That's no closer. So I don't know his name. I don't want to know his name. I don't care about his name because if you only have 6 saves and we are 80-something games, then your name is not worth mentioning, and you're the best they got.
While you're talking about closers, can I just mention the Mets closer?
Go ahead.
Edwin Diaz, having the best season he's ever had as a Met. He's faced 139 batters this year.
Yeah.
He's struck out 70. He's striking out more than half of the batters he faces.
That's a closer.
That's outstanding.
That's a closer, ladies and gentlemen.
That is outstanding.
That's a closer, boys and girls. You couldn't take 8 pitchers on the Red Sox to put them together and get a number like that.
Well, he
okay?
made the All-Star team.
He did make the All-Star team, and he should have with a stat line like that.
That's
he should
crazy.
have. That is crazy. So yeah, to me, they got to do. You get another frontline starter because we don't know what Chris Sale's going to do. Okay, we don't know what he's going to be.
But they're saying Evaldi's coming back.
Evaldi also, he's missing
Sale's
too.
coming back.
So you get those 2 back. We'll see what they do. But the bottom is, it's either a closer or another frontline starter. What do you do?
Dahlbeck struck out.
Well, no surprise there.
And he swung at 2 balls.
Guy blows the Pope. So what do you expect?
They should have given him the red light. Hold that bat.
You should have pinch hit for him.
No, they should have said, "Do not swing."
But just not take your
This
shoulder,
guy- this-
not take the bat off your shoulder.
This guy can't throw strikes. He only threw in 1 strike. Called for a strike. The rest of them were all balls.
So Durant's up. He's in a RJ like slump right now. This guy. He's like 0 for his last 12.
Who's Durant?
He's the leadoff hitter for the Red Sox. He's like 0 for his last 12. He did have one. He had one earlier in the game that he hit towards the 420 triangle, and the guy caught it on the warning track running into the triangle. So I mean, that
So
was
he hit it 410.
He hit it 410. Yeah, I mean, he hit it 410. If he hit anywhere else, the damn thing goes off the monster. It goes into the bullpen. So he hit it in the one spot where if you hit it 410, they could still run it down. So that one was a little bit encouraging. Let's see what he does here. He better get at least a sacrifice fly out of this because if they leave his bases drunk,
that strikeout
I'm
is
gonna lose my.
big.
That strikeout is huge.
Oh no, they pinch hit Jeter for him. Jeter Downs. The Yankee killer, Jeter Downs. Did you see that yesterday? That was a cool moment. So
Yeah, it was a cool moment, but a moment like that doesn't normally last.
I know, but for anybody that missed it, so this kid Jeter Downs,
They named after Derek Jeter.
yeah, his namesake
It was
is
a
Derek
Red
Jeter.
Sox.
He was in what's the minor league team that's close?
That's Worcester.
Yeah, he was in Worcester in the starting lineup. They pulled him. He had to get to Fenway. He comes up in the 10th or whatever inning it was, 10th or 11th.
10th inning.
Pinch hitting with a man on first and third, I
And he
think.
wins the damn game.
Well, he tied
He
it.
tied it. I'm sorry, he tied it. Yeah.
He tied it. He hits a ground ball through the second base hole, and then Verdugo comes up and wins it with the 2-run.
So now here's what I'm going to pull a Tom because they have strike one on this guy, and the ball was low and inside. It wasn't in the strike zone.
And he swung at it.
Oh, he swung at it. Okay.
Tell him to stop.
Yeah.
Take it. I mean,
Well, they're not going to listen to me, so.
because that's the thing.
They're not going to hear me down here. Hey, if anybody watching that game, Melissa, can you send a note to Mr. Alex Cora has to know this. I refuse to believe that Alex Cora doesn't know if the guy up there can't hit the strike zone.
Can't hit the strike zone.
I mean,
But if he throws a ball and you swing at it, now he gets confidence and he
if the
gets
strike
roasted.
zone was the monster, he couldn't hit it with the ball. Okay, so now it's 2 strikes. Oh wait, he put one on the strike
Well,
zone.
now he's got confidence because he's throwing balls and they're swinging at him.
0-2. This is looking exactly the way I didn't want it to go.
Hold on, let's have faith in Jeter.
The kid was just in Worcester 24 hours ago.
He should be wearing number 2, just to stick it to the Yankees.
Yeah, well, he ain't
Number
sticking it
2.
to him right now. He's about to go down.
What if he hits a bomb on an 0-2 count?
You just told me this guy doesn't throw strikes. What are the odds of that?
Well, he just threw one.
Probably
In play run. In play run. He did something.
In play run.
In play run. Hold on.
What happened?
We're waiting to see the play-by-play here.
Was it an out or a hit?
It's a run. I don't know. It could be a sac fly.
You
It
told me
could,
it was wild
could be a
pitch?
bases clear.
Wild pitch?
No, it's in play run. He hit it. 102-mile-an-hour four-seam fastball, down and in. Did he turn on it and hit it over the monster,
What the hell just
or
happened?
did he shoot one to the outfield? Come on, update.
Somebody update. This is. You guys are watching this.
This is-
You already know what's happening.
That's
We
right.
don't know what's happening. This is killing me. Wait a minute. What the hell? Somebody, anybody.
No, let the suspense build.
The suspense is terrible.
Don't look it up. Let the
I don't want it to.
Oh, he popped into a force out.
Yeah, he popped into a force out and the guy scored. So there's 2 outs, right? And my wife, who doesn't understand that I'm doing a show right now, is texting me the score.
7-6. Jeter Downs pops into a force out. Second baseman DJ LeMahieu to right fielder Aaron Judge to shortstop Isaiah Kiner Falefa. Trevor Story scores. Franchi Cordero to third. Ref Schneider out at second. So, I don't understand what happened. Maybe they called the infield fly rule, but he dropped it?
I don't know. Vasquez is up now. He's 2 for 3.
He must have hit a pop up. They dropped it, but they called the infield fly. No, because he's safe at first. How did he pop out? I don't get it.
Maybe he tagged. Well, no, he tagged up and scored from third.
Pops into a force out. Okay, so he hit a ball. So it was a pop up, but it went to the ground. Maybe LeMahieu deflected it.
It's first and third.
LeMahieu must have deflected it to
And
Judge.
Vasquez is already down 0-2 to this guy. So
Well, see, Vasquez goes up there with my philosophy and takes 2 strikes down the middle. Come on, buddy.
which proves that you aren't right either.
Well, they already screwed it up. They had him where they wanted him, and they swung at balls.
Only the Red Sox. So
So you said they needed to get at least 2. Could Vasquez get a hit here?
he could, but it's not looking good right now. Oh, too funny. Too funny. So the Red Sox have the lead. They should. There's a ball. They got to get another run here. They got to get the third guy. They got their base home. They at least get 2. It's 1-2 right now. So we're hanging on a delay count here on these computers and cell phones. Technology, my ass. So
Sometimes I like watching the game.
I can't
Where you see
stand
the little
this.
ball pop up,
Yeah.
strike, ball, strike. Then
or if there's a hit, they go like if you have it on the tablet, it goes to the layout of the field, and then you see where the ball.
yeah. But see on this one, struck
Struck him out
God
swinging.
damn. Struck him out on a ball.
On a ball.
So it goes
One damn run. One stinking run with the
Bases
bases
loaded, no
juice.
outs.
Nobody out, and they get one damn run. That is a recipe for disaster.
If this was the Mets, this would have been my reaction. They're not winning this fucking game, and I would have walked out of the room. That's what negatory means. All right, but
They're ahead.
Okay,
They're down
so-
6-2. They're ahead. I'm gonna just take that approach.
Okay, let me ask you
I'm
this.
mad right now, but they're ahead.
let me ask you this, because I have a real dirtbaggery inside of me.
Dirt baggery.
So because the Mets lost, like I have a hard time. Like there's a piece of me that wants the Red Sox to lose so that you can be miserable with me. Isn't that sad? Like you know what I'm saying? Like
misery loves company.
Like I can't be happy for you if the Red Sox
Misery
win.
loves company.
I want you to kind of be in the dumps with me.
I'm in the dumps right now. They just left the base. They have the bases.
But
left.
have you ever experienced
2
that?
guys strike out looking to a guy who can't throw a strike.
Have you ever experienced that though? Like, let's say the Patriots lose at 1 o'clock, and then you're at your friend's house watching the 4 o'clock game, and their team's playing. Do you kind of want them to lose too?
No,
No,
I haven't.
better than that?
I'm not an asshole.
that's not true.
I'm a whole ass.
Maybe not in that situation.
I'm a whole
but
ass.
you are.
Let's be honest, folks. I'm a whole ass. Because the only way, if maybe a friend of mine happens to be a fan of a team that's in my division,
That's different.
that's different.
If it means something.
If
to
it
your
means
team.
something to my team, then yes.
But like the Red Sox are nowhere near the Mets. Like it.
Oh, actually, that's not true because I have 2 brothers. One's a Steeler fan, one's a Cowboy fan. So in that scenario, I definitely want those 2 teams.
Yeah, but
to
they
lose.
shit talk you if they're. Team
Yeah, I want because
because
that's been my whole life. With the Pats lose, which was for half of it, because the second half of it, Tom Brady, thank God, made amends for that for me for those 2. But I would want if the Pats lose, I definitely want the Steelers and the Cowboys to lose.
But I just
don't
like
wanna
to say
listen
I'm sorry.
Because I don't want to listen to my brothers. Anybody else I don't really care about. But my 2 brothers who will take a point at some point to throw a jab in there. Pete's not as bad as Mark. Now, Mark's the worst one still. Pete's not as bad as.
Who is this Mark I
That's
hear
my older
about?
brother, the one you've never met.
Come on, Mark. Where you at?
He's probably watching the game.
Mark?
He's a Sox fan.
Mark, come on down to
He is a
PA.
Sox fan. He is a Celtics fan. He's a Bruins fan, but he's a Squealer fan. I can't stand that. So anyway,
He's a Steeler fan.
yeah,
That's
diehard.
gross. Mark,
He's got a small miniature of the stadium.
Mark, you're better than
He's got like 5 or 6 of the jerseys from the 70s.
Steeler fan?
Yeah, and Pete's a Cowboy fan.
It's like being a Cardinal fan.
He's a Pizza Cowboy fan. What's worse? Do you think it's worse to have a Steeler fan in your household or a Cowboy fan in your household?
A Cowboy fan.
Okay, so I got both. All right, the Steelers are probably second to you.
But like, remember
if it's
when the
football.
Steelers were like going through the whole terrible towel phase, like that? Just like
Oh, we had a different name for those up in Massachusetts. We call them Tom's Tushy Wipes. because Tom would wipe his you-know-what with them every time he played them. He was like 12-3 against them, and most of those games were playoff games, which was beautiful. Which was beautiful. And my older brother kept doing this, or this, or that, and now the Patriots did in 19 years what took them 40-something, 50 years to do.
Yeah, see, that's one thing.
Yeah,
A franchise that has a lot of championships,
Yeah.
their fans like to live in the past.
Well, that's what you have, but that's the whole point of it, though. You can't take those away.
I know, but it's like if we beat you today, don't tell me about 1970.
But that doesn't. But the point is,
That's stupid.
you know, the point is that that's part of being a fan. Okay,
Or
and
being a
that's one of the
jackass.
benefits of because if you had a team like that, you do the same thing.
But
You
I
don't. But that's not my fault.
But here's my thing. Like,
Actually, you do. The Giants have 4 Super Bowls. You could do that to a lot. You could do that to like a Commanders fan or.
but I wouldn't. That's so dumb.
Well, no, it's not. It's true.
Listen, it's dumb.
It's true. If a team beats you like in a playoff game, all right.
I would never point a championship because I'm pissed.
And they're rubbing your nose in it. You wouldn't sit there and go,
No.
I would, and go, how many you got
It's got
again?
nothing to do
How
with
many
that
you got
game.
again? Oh,
It's
you
got
have
nothing to do
zero.
with the game.
Oh, when you get one, then talk to me. Until then, yeah, you were better today.
If we're in an argument about our
so what do you do, Josh?
franchises-
Do you tuck your tail between your legs and go home?
No, I told you to fuck off.
Is that not telling them to fuck
No.
off? What is it?
That's a weak argument.
No, it's not, because those are facts.
If we are
Those are facts.
If we are arguing about our organizations, that's different.
That is what
But
you're arguing.
no, we're not. We're arguing about a game. Look, if y'all beat us in the Super Bowl next year, right? If the Patriots beat the Giants, I wouldn't go, yeah, well, we stopped you from getting to 19-0.
I would.
I wouldn't.
I would.
That's weak.
Because you did.
Right, but it has nothing to do
It's
with
not
that
weak. It's
Super
a
Bowl.
fact. It happened. You can't.
It's
and
an
you can't-
irrelevant
and you
fact.
can't- No, it's not an irrelevant fact. It happened. It is a fact. It's not irrelevant. It's not irrelevant because it
irrelevant.
led to a championship. It can't be irrelevant.
But here's my
If it
thing.
led to a championship, it's relevant.
That's not true.
Yes, it is true.
It's not
yes,
true.
it is true.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is true.
Okay, here's my thing. It wouldn't make me feel better in the moment. It wouldn't. Like me going, oh, but we beat you 10 years ago. Who cares?
It's not that you beat us 10 years ago. It's that you prevented 19-0.
Look,
Of all the arguments you could make, that would be the one I'd make.
look. So like when you and I are bantering about the Pats and the Giants, I might bring that up.
You will. Not Mike, you will.
Right, yeah, I'm saying.
And you should.
But to me, it's
You should.
relevant. But if you break my heart next year in the Super Bowl, me saying that doesn't put my heart back together. It just makes you laugh because you're like, yeah, but we just won the Super Bowl.
I would say live in the moment.
Exactly.
That would be my argument. And
Exactly.
you would say, I can't live in the moment. We just lost, so I have to go back to
No. I would live in the moment in misery.
I wouldn't, because that sucks.
You would tuck your tail.
I would want
You would tuck your tail and go to the past.
No, I
Yes, you
would,
would.
because that was what it would
Tail
allow me-
tuck.
That would be no.
Tail
The tail
tuck.
tuck is to say nothing. That's the tail tuck.
You know I'm not going to say nothing.
Well, that's what I would say.
You would say nothing.
No, I would say 19-0. That's right. That didn't happen. That's what I'd say.
Weak
If
argument.
no, it's not a weak argument. It's
Weak
a fact.
argument.
It's a fact.
It's an
It can't
irrelevant
be-
fact.
No, it's not irrelevant. How can a fact be irrelevant?
What do you mean, how could a fact be irrelevant?
Okay, tell me how. How is a fact irrelevant? We're talking about the same. If we're talking about a different sport, yeah, it's irrelevant.
No.
If we're talking about that sport, the same two teams, and it led to a championship, and you're telling me it's irrelevant?
Irrelevant.
It's not irrelevant.
Irrelevant.
It's not irrelevant. It is
That's
irrelevant.
like if I'm like,
It's not irrelevant. It's not.
pistachio ice cream, the kind that's dyed green is the best. And you go, yeah, but
No, but it's not like that
but
at
a
all.
Mercedes-Benz is better than a BMW.
We're not
And I
talking
go,
about.
Shut
We're
up,
not
what are
talking
you
about food. We're not talking about cars. We're not talking about either of those two things. We're talking about something that actually happened that affected the course of history of the sport.
Irrelevant.
No, it is relevant.
It's irrelevant.
It is relevant.
How is it
Pistachio
relevant
ice
to that
cream
game?
is irrelevant. Okay.
No, I'm saying if you and I were having an ice cream argument, okay, and I said Mercedes is better than a BMW, it's an irrelevant fact.
Well, with ice cream, yeah. But that's a different thing.
And
talking-
10 years ago is different
No,
than
it's
right
not.
now.
You
Yes,
know
it
what? You're
is.
talking about the same sport, the same two teams, and one of them won a championship.
No, we're not talking about the same two teams. New people.
Well, they're the same two organizations. Same two organizations, same sport.
Irrelevant.
It's not irrelevant.
Irrelevant.
It's not irrelevant. No.
Irrelevant.
No, not at all. I disagree.
Irrelevant.
I disagree.
And
I strongly
disagree with you.
disagree.
I'm just glad
Anyway.
you don't not disagree.
And you said we weren't supposed to say that.
I
and
appreciate it.
You just said it.
No, I said I'm glad you didn't say that.
The Red Sox in the top of this. I have 2 outs on the Yankees with nobody on. They've got who's up? Stanton, who hit a dinger. Stanton hit one into the pitchers in the bullpen earlier in the game.
Yankees make me sick.
So he's
That lineup, my
so
God.
they are a sick lineup. So it's 2-2 right now.
They got 3 guys with 20 bombs.
I know. They lead the league in home runs. Why is that a surprise?
It's not a surprise. It's annoying. They got Judge, who's got 30.
Why is it annoying? Tell me.
Because it's an embarrassment of riches.
What the Yankees
They got
always
Anthony
had.
Rizzo, who they didn't even run at first base, and he's got 21 bombs.
The Yankees usually have an embarrassment.
They got 2 guys who look like superheroes, Stanton and Judge.
When Steinbrenner was running things, it was kind of the norm that the
Yeah,
Yankees had
it's annoying.
Well, nothing's changed.
That's the one thing I would say about the Pats, that like you couldn't hate on them for that, because the Pats always did it with a bunch of guys who were like, who the hell is that?
Yeah, Tom Brady and a bunch of Tom
Right.
Brady, whoever they are. Yeah,
Right.
Yeah. So no, but football with a 45-man roster, you have to have some guys like that, because there's a lot of you.
Although when Tampa won it a couple years ago, they were like the Yankees in terms of their lineup, in terms of their roster.
They were 7-9 the year before with that roster. The only thing they added was Brady, Gronk, and then
2 Hall of Famers.
Well, yeah, but
Who else? Who else did they
Gronk
add?
came out of retirement. He hadn't played in 2
Still a
years.
Hall of Famer.
Yeah, but he hadn't played in 2 years. There's no way of knowing.
He was
that-
still top 3 tight ends in the league.
because he's Rob Gronkowski.
Right, so don't tell me he was sitting there. He was resting.
He had 28 surgeries. I'd say he needed a lot of rest.
I agree.
Okay. So, but there was no way of knowing he'd come back and be that good.
No, but I'm saying, like, okay, so that was a very talent-filled roster. Now you put the best quarterback of all time on it. You bring the best tight end of all time.
Yep.
And you have LeGarrette Blount as the run. Like, they looked like the Yankees out there. That's all I'm saying.
For 1 year.
Right, for 1 year.
For 1 year. Yeah.
Whereas the Yankees seem to always have that.
They do. And
Stanton just
but-
struck out.
Yeah, he did. So the Red Sox went. That's good. The Red Sox went 1-2-3. So they got
Kind of disappointed.
They've
I wanna
got
stand
Martinez. They've got J.D. Martinez, Xander Bogaerts. I think Bogaerts made the All-Star team, by the way, and Verdugo coming up. So the 3, 4, and 5 hitters are coming up. for the Red Sox.
Bogarts, if you're hitting 300, you should make the All-Star team.
You should. If you're playing in that division.
Right.
In that division, and you're hitting 300, yeah, you should, yeah. So we'll see what the Red Sox can get some insurance runs here in the bottom of the 7th, Martinez got a big one. See if he can get on base again. So we'll keep you posted on that. Mets have a big series looming with the Braves
Major
starting tomorrow.
League.
Major League Series
Major League.
tomorrow, starting the 3-gamer there, and then the Red Sox also are going to Tampa, who they've had a litany of problems with. So that's a big series. So these are all this next, like I said, this next couple of weeks is going to be huge. So we're going to stay on this in this segment until that game is over, or we get close to it. We usually do hour segments here, two 1-hour segments, and then maybe sometimes we come back for a third one if we're feeling spicy or motivated, whatever you want to call it. We have a think piece. What's the think piece tonight? Did we think about a think piece?
We haven't really thought about a
think piece. I have an idea on a think piece, but I didn't know if you had anything that you had written down, or any things you wanted to throw at me
So
to see if we.
I do.
He's already laughing.
So
I don't know if that's good or bad.
okay, so this isn't a think piece, but I feel like we need some content, little fun content right now.
Okay.
So for those of you who don't know, I'm a recruiter. That's my day job.
He moonlights as a recruiter.
So I try to find people to hire for positions in my company. And I was talking to a candidate the other day, and he just made me think of a phrase that I hate.
Oh God.
And I love bringing up phrases that I hate.
This is becoming a nightly thing here. All right, what's this? What's this one?
So this is my Larry David impersonation, the things I hate. But basically, he would ramble on and on and on, and then he would say, long story short. Okay? So like, it's one of those phrases where whenever somebody uses that phrase, they've told a long-ass fucking story.
Well, yeah, that's the whole point.
No, it's not.
Why not?
The point of that statement is like if I say, hey, so like what happened in the Red Sox game the other night? You go, well, long story short, the Red Sox won on a walk-off. You shorten a long story. Don't tell me the entire story and then say, long story short, and then reiterate some of the points. Now you've made the long story even longer.
By what, a sentence?
Right, but you already told me a long story. Okay, so like, all right, for instance.
I don't disagree with that.
Shut the fuck up. Stop that.
I don't disagree with that.
No, you should agree with that.
But,
This fucking...
well, if you're going to say that, you have to have a but. A but.
How about I agree, but?
What? Fine, whatever. The point is that
Like, my thing is, okay, if you know...
what it never ceases to amaze me about you is that you don't just hate, you hate on these phrases that everybody uses.
Right.
Except for I don't disagree.
But like this is my radio persona, okay? I don't walk around like full of hate, okay?
No, but you hate on things that hundreds of millions of people.
No, I understand, and that's what I'm saying. Like, look, I don't think everyone, okay? I'm trying to draw attention to things that people do that can be irritating.
And maybe, just maybe, when they say that after the long story, it's in a sarcastic tone. They're just trying to make light of it.
No.
How do you know?
No.
How do you know?
I hate this bullshit. How do you know?
Because you don't know.
I can feel a person's energy. Okay, I'm an empath. All right. So my thing is this.
I can feel it.
Look, I understand.
Can you feel it?
I understand.
Can you feel the bullshit coming?
That's not bullshit.
You hating on so many very common catchphrases that so many people use.
Ridiculous phrase. If
when you don't know what's behind when they use it, is what I'm saying.
So here's my thing. If I ask you a question, maybe it's an interview question.
Mm-hmm.
If you find yourself rambling, say, well, the point I'm trying to make is this. Okay?
Okay.
And just say it. Don't say long story short, because you just made the story long. If you were making...
Maybe they didn't mean to. It went.
I agree, but now be honest and say, I'm sorry, that was a long way of saying this.
Maybe they were using that in an apologetic tone. Long story short. Maybe they're saying like that.
My thing is...
Not everybody says things to annoy you, Tom.
No, of course not. I'm just saying.
There are people that do, but to be fair,
I'm just saying, the correct way to use that phrase is to shorten a long story before telling a long story.
But what if telling the long story leads to other points?
Be like, so what happened with the
relevant points?
What happened with the Vietnam War? Well, in this year we did this, and in that year we did this, and then there was this, and no. Long story short, we fucked up. We spent all these years in Vietnam
dragging our feet.
We struggled because we were in a terrain that we, couldn't deal with. A lot of mistakes were made. A lot of lives were lost. It was a bit of a debacle. Soldiers got blamed for a bunch of stuff.
That wasn't their fault.
It was a bad time in history.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? 20 seconds. That's a long story short. And I probably left out some details, but hey, I wasn't alive. But if I told you year by year what happened in the Vietnam War, and after 20 minutes I said, long story short, we pulled out.
I wonder if someone's actually done that. Like rambled on for 20 minutes about something and then said that at the end of it.
I guarantee it.
I wonder if that's actually happened.
I guarantee it.
Because that would piss me off.
Yes!
If you went 20 minutes. But, well, let's be fair. If what you're saying in those 20 minutes is relevant, you're hitting a bunch of good points. If you're just rambling on for 20 minutes, you're not making any sense.
Well, my thing is either way.
And then you say that would piss me off.
But either way, if you're telling a good long story, just tell it. Don't tell a long story and then give me this bullshit. Long story short.
What if you...
No. I would prefer when people sometimes make the joke, well, short story long. Like that's funny. Because funny. Now they realize I could have told you this story in 20 seconds.
But
I just rambled. Yeah, and sometimes that happens. You start talking and you're like,
I've never heard anyone say to me short story long.
I've had that.
Have you?
Oh yeah. It's typically a work thing, But
anyway, so long story short irks you.
Yes, it does. I just did long story short about long story short. Yeah. Long story short, I don't like that phrase. Unless you use it properly and you shorten a long story.
This is why this fridge is here. For moments like this.
But that's kind of funny, right?
It is funny. Everything you say, because the stuff that irks you doesn't irk me, not most of the time. So it's like,
And again, it doesn't
It's,
keep me up at night. But I
guess-
just thought about it and I was like, this would be funny.
I guess I have no idea where to go with this. I guess to me things that irk me are things like that you should. It's not even, you don't have to be a well-educated person. Like common sense things irk me. Like things like where you fail to see something that you probably should see. You don't have to have a college degree, even a high school, to understand some things.
Like when Donald Trump loses the election and he says, "No, I didn't. There was fraud," and everybody goes, "Oh my God, there was fraud in the election. He didn't lose." That irks me. That does.
The part of that irks me is that so many people believe what they see on television. That irks me. Okay, because not everything. I always call it agenda news, and whether it's CNN or Fox or whoever, they're all agenda news. They've all got an angle. They all want to spin it a certain way.
CNN
it happens in sports.
CNN said Joe Biden won. That wasn't an agenda.
I'm not talking about that.
Right, but don't bring that up with this. This was complete horseshit.
I'm saying that both sides have done that. Okay, I'm talking about both newsrooms have done that. So I'm not saying fraud. I'm saying, but both sides
less common sense on Fox.
No, there is. I agree with that.
Like
but
way more less common sense.
But I'm just saying that sports.
Way more less?
In sports, there's way less.
Way less common sense on
Whatever. Is that going to irk you, Tom? You going to write that one down too? Listen.
If you say more less, if you say more less,
I'm going to say it now on purpose.
So right now I hate myself.
Yes, just to piss you off a little more. I'm going to say it. So no, my point is that that happens in sports.
Doesn't that irk you?
That happens. No, what irks me is when people
fraudulent election claims.
Everything that is not based on facts irks me. Okay.
Right, so saying if you're going
to make an argument or you're going to defend something, you better damn well have facts. I don't care about your opinion. I'm not interested in your opinion, unless your opinion is based off of facts. Now, if we can disagree there, but if you're going based on facts, I'll at least listen to you. Okay, when you're just shooting from the hip, and you're saying the Bill Belichick one irks me more than anything. But I mean, in terms of sports.
But what about the fraudulent election argument?
I don't care about it because that's like talking to the wall. People that are that dumb.
Right. So doesn't that irk you?
I've long accepted the fact. I said this in the last show that this country is devoid of common sense, and I've stopped expecting it.
Okay, but your whole piece here is.
I don't have the piece. Your piece is all about long story short.
No, you just said things that irk me are when people don't have common sense. Yes. And I brought up an argument where people are not using common sense and now you're tiptoeing.
I'm not tiptoeing at all. I don't care about that because about this. That thing is 3 years. How long has this been now? 2 years? 2 years ago, right? He's been in office 2 years now, Bud?
Yeah.
Okay. I don't care about something 2 years ago that was bullshit to begin with.
Okay, so
now 2 years ago, I cared about it then.
Right, but it's still irrelevant. They're still having the January 6th hearings and everything.
That's about on the Capitol. What happened there?
That happened because people believed Trump.
I know. People died. Okay.
So doesn't that irk you?
It irked me that 6 people died?
Right, because a bunch of people believed some bullshit and didn't use their common sense.
They don't have it. You can't use something you don't have. I'm not excusing them of this. I'm more mad at the people that raised them.
I just don't know why you're arguing against me when I'm making your point.
I'm not arguing against you. I'm saying that in terms of the election results, and that's a stupid argument that was made.
Didn't that irk you?
It did then. Now I don't care. It was 2 years ago. Now there are things now that irk me that are in currently.
All right, what's the current one that irks you?
So the current one that irks me now, bringing it back to sports, okay, is that Bill Belichick is the greatest coach of all time.
He is.
No, he's not.
Who is?
I don't know, but I don't think it's him. I might have to go back. I don't, and I'm not saying
I don't know if that one's a common sense.
I don't know. Well, if you look at
I know what you're going to say, but I don't know that that's just cut and dry.
It's not cut and dry that he's the greatest coach of all time. Can you let's be fair. Can you make an argument for him? Absolutely.
Right. So that would be common sense.
But the problem is the argument is based largely on one man, okay, who's no longer there, okay? Because without that one man, if you look at the facts, they don't bear him out as being an average coach. And it's not a small sample size. It's a 9-year window.
9?
9 seasons. Okay? This isn't about a strike shortened or a COVID. No, this is 9 years that he didn't coach. He coached without a guy named Brady, and you look at what he did in those 9 years. You're like, how can you say that?
Okay.
That's a very long. That's a fair assessment.
I would say
That's a fair assessment.
I would kind of say you're the authority on this subject.
Because I just give you facts.
Right, and you know the facts about Belichick.
I know what the
but I
facts
will
are.
say this too: you're biased against Belichick because he let the greatest player of all time go.
Why wouldn't, if you're a fan of the Patriots, and this guy could, it's one thing if he's washed up or if he asked for all the money in the world, because those two scenarios I would accept. But he wasn't washed up, and he didn't want to be the highest paid player in the sport. Okay? Because if that would have happened, I would have understood Belichick letting him go. And I said this before about the whole letting a player go a year early rather than a year late, because that's Belichick's philosophy, and by and large I agree with that
And it
philosophy.
works.
It does, but there's always an exception to the rule.
You're right.
And for 20 years, he was staring it in the face, which means one of two things. Either he is devoid of common sense, because common sense tells you would do that, or his ego got in the way, and he wants to prove he can win without it. Because why else would you blow up a 12-14 with a top 5 defense and the greatest quarterback of all time? Anybody with common sense would go, let's find the 1 or 2 pieces Tom needs and get back into this thing next year. Because Tom would have stayed.
So can I say this?
So that's the problem I have with this. And then what happens on top of it? What does Brady go and do the next year?
He wins the Super Bowl.
In a brand new team in a COVID year with no offseason at 42, 43, whatever he was, okay, in a new system with a coach. No one, look, Bruce Arians, no one would be putting him. Tom Brady is what is going to put him in the Hall of Fame. He wasn't a Hall of Fame coach before Tom Brady got there. He wasn't, okay? But now he might be.
And I'll say
Okay?
this: one thing I love about Arians is how he gives opportunity to black
No,
coaches.
that's fine.
I love
I love that too. And that's one of the things I like about it. But this
yeah.
risk it, no biscuit bullshit.
Risk it, no
There's
biscuit?
no risk it, no biscuit bullshit. That's a fucking. That's a 6th grader talking in the middle of a little league baseball game crap.
Okay, but before we get on Arians, I want to make a point. Okay, I would lean towards your argument that Belichick is not the best coach of all time if you based it on the fact that he let Brady go. As opposed, like, I don't even care about the 9 years. If you said he had the best player of all time, he watched him basically carry a franchise for 20 years, go to 9 Super Bowls, and then let him go, and that's why he's not the greatest coach of all time, I think I like that argument better than he had 9 seasons without him where he wasn't good.
That's the facts.
No, I understand.
Those are the facts.
I understand,
You're
but
talking about an opinion, because the facts don't. Yeah, I don't know. What I know is this: without him, he's 70 and 79 with 1 playoff.
Holy shit, the Red Sox have blown it open.
Yeah, I saw.
It's 11-6.
11-6. Well, we were babbling about the Bill Belichick's greatness or lack of. The Red Sox have exploded. 11 in the 7th inning.
Trevor Story had a 3-run double.
No, he was the first guy on.
No, Trevor Story doubles on a sharp fly ball at center fielder
Who was
Aaron
the
Hicks.
first guy? Oh, that's right.
J.D. Martinez.
Yeah, JD was the first guy.
Xander Bogart scores. Verdugo scores.
Wow. Okay, so the Red Sox bats have woken up here in the 7th. Finally. And that's what you got to do against the Yankees. You got to fight fire with fire. If you don't have the aces on the mound,
Wow.
you have to out-hit them.
That's big.
And you better have a lineup that can do it, which the Red Sox, and they're doing this, by the way, Rafael Devers is not in the lineup tonight, and they're doing this. That's impressive, okay? That speaks to the resiliency of this team and the management skills of one Alex Cora, okay? Because he finds ways to win. Bill Belichick has yet to find a way to win a Super Bowl without Tom Brady. Keyword, Super Bowl. I don't want to hear about what Matt Castle did in 2008 when he got handed
But
the
why
keys.
not?
Because he got handed the keys to a Ferrari.
Okay, but
And he crashed it.
But here's where I don't like when you do that because
Why?
Because the fact is they made the playoffs that year.
No, they didn't.
Okay,
They did not make the playoffs
Okay,
that
I'm
year.
sorry. They won 11 games.
The fact is they only beat 2 teams with a winning record. That's the fact.
Right, but
and there are 11 wins, only 2 came against the team with a winning record. That's the fact. They were bottom feeders. That's the fact. And the facts are also this. He had Randy Moss, who played the whole season. Last season he was healthy. He had Wes Welker in his prime. He still had Jabbar Gaffney. The one guy who left was Dante Stallworth, who only caught 3 touchdown passes the year before. So you can manufacture 3 touchdowns somewhere else. Here's the difference. The year before, in virtually the same offense, with Dante Stallworth, so 3 touchdowns, Tom Brady throws 50, 5,500, and 8 interceptions. That's 50 touchdowns, 5,000 yards, and 8 interceptions. The next year, minus Dante Stallworth, which is 660-plus yards and 3 touchdowns. Take that out of the lineup. Matt Castle goes 21-10 with an easier schedule. Don't tell me it's a system. Brady was the system, because before Tom Brady and since Tom Brady, the system is 70 and 79, and the system had Drew Bledsoe in it, and the system had Vinny Testaverde in it. We're both very capable.
But how do you discount the 20 years where they were the best in the league?
I don't. Tom Brady is the main reason for that. The one constant in those 6 Super
You
Bowls.
could say that about every great coach.
Yes, you can. But the difference is.
So Red Auerbach is not like who?
Red Auerbach drafted those guys, all of them.
So what? Belichick drafted Brady.
Actually, Dick Rabine drafted Brady.
Okay, you see, now you're being a bitch.
No, that's the guy who convinced him to do it. He's the guy. He was the guy who scouted him. He was the guy who went to Bill and said,
So you were in the war room with Red Auerbach when he was drafted. Nobody else drafted.
No, Drill. Listen to what I'm saying. Let me finish what I'm saying.
You're picking and choosing your facts.
I was not in the room when Bill Russell was the two-time defending national champion. He was the best player in college basketball. That's a no-brainer. How many eggs do you need to figure that one out? You're a playoff team every year. You're missing. Wilt Chamberlain's running around there. You need a guy to deal with him. And look at this guy. Okay. How many scouts do you need to figure that one out?
What about the rest of the team?
Tom Brady. Well, if you saw him at the combine, you would be like, no one's drafting him. No one's drafting him. No one. Okay? If you saw him, I could put the big
Bill Belichick drafted him.
No, Dick Rabine convinced him to draft him.
But he still drafted him.
Because of Dick Rabine.
Oh, please.
Because Dick Rabine said, look, here's
Your argument is weak.
No, it's not weak. It's in the book. It's in the book. It's in a book by Michael Bahali. It's
Bill Belichick still had to pull the trigger.
He wouldn't have if Dick Rabine did.
But he did it.
Because of Dick Rabine.
Okay, so Dick Rabine's the best fucking person.
Dick Rabine is the one who scouted Tom Brady. Dick Rabine is the one who came back with all the data, all the facts on why Belichick should draft him.
Is it data or data?
Data, whatever you want to call it. Data, whatever. Bottom line is, Dick
data.
Rabine went to him and said, here is why you need... And by the way, here's the other thing about this. Drew Bledsoe was in the middle of his prime, just signed, at the time, what was the biggest contract in the history of the sport, $100 million, and he was coming off a Pro Bowl season. Okay?
And who left Brady in?
Huh?
Who left Brady in?
What are you talking about left Brady in?
When Brady came in, when Bledsoe went down, who left him in?
Belichick did.
Boom.
Because they won. They were 6-1.
So?
Why would you take him out?
A bunch of coaches would have taken him out.
A bunch of coaches. The year before, with a healthy Drew Bledsoe, they went 5-11. Okay, the system wasn't working. All of a sudden, a guy comes along
and a hero comes.
Who goes 6-1 in your system, which up to that point didn't have any quarterback in any stretch, go 6-1 in this system. If your job isn't along, which Belichick's was, are you going to take the one guy out who suddenly was making this system of yours work, or go back to the guy who, after a year into you knew he couldn't make it work?
What was the defense like for the past 20 years?
They went to the Super Bowl in '96. That defense was all together.
Well, Belichick's been their coach. What's the defense been like? Top 5 in the league every year?
No.
No?
No. They finish usually somewhere between, I'd say, they had 03-04, they were elite. They were top 5. 03-04.
Okay.
2014, when they beat Seattle, that defense was elite. The other 3 years, they were kind of between 10 and 15. They were decent. They were good. They weren't great. They were good. I mean, the year they won the Super Bowl, they were ranked 17th overall.
I feel like their defense.
They were ranked 17th overall in defense, but where they were big was they were only 6th in points allowed.
Bend, don't break.
Bend, don't break.
That's what you always hear.
Bend, don't break. That's where they were huge. In 01, they were 6th in the league in points allowed. They were 17th in overall defense.
You're still pissed at Belichick for letting Brady leave.
Is Tom Brady still playing at the best high level? Yes. Did we just get our asses handed to us 47-17 in a playoff game where, by the way, you know how you beat Josh Allen? You got to have a guy who can go toe-to-toe with him. By the way, the guy in Tampa played him last year and beat him. So why would I still be mad about this? And this ain't Mac Jones' fault. Mac Jones is a rookie. Mac Jones was ill-equipped to go against a guy like that. Oh, on top of it, when you go and spend $156 million in 3 years, you don't get this guy a Pro Bowler on the outside? How do you spend that kind of money and not get the return on your investment in year 1? Because you don't go to free agency and get rookies. You go to free agency and you get talented veterans that are going to come in and help your rookie quarterback get over the hump. Okay? Not one 1,000-yard receiver. Not one guy double-digit touchdown percent. Not one guy!
The point needs to be made. I don't know that you can win a Super Bowl with a quarterback whose first name is Mac.
Has it ever happened?
I don't think so.
Then the facts would bear out. Then there you go, Tom. You would be right. Based on the facts, based on the historical facts, you would be right.
I mean, where does that come from? What is Mac?
Malcolm?
No way his name's Malcolm.
What's Mac short for?
Mackenzie?
Maybe. Mackenzie Jones? Look it up.
Let's see.
Look it up.
Because if it's just a nickname like, hey, what's up, Big Mac? Yeah, you're not winning the Super Bowl. You're not winning the Super Bowl.
What's your son's name? Mac. What's his full name? Big Mac. Well, when he was a baby, it was Little Mac. Now it's 66.5. Now it's Big Mac. Why would you? I don't know. I don't know.
Michael McCorkle Jones. Never winning.
Michael McCorkle is his middle name?
McCorkle.
McCorkle?
McCorkle.
Let me see that.
We just stumbled upon a gem.
Would you spell that for me?
We have just stumbled upon a gemstone. Michael McCorkle.
It says McCorkle, ladies and gentlemen.
M, big C, Orkle. And they call him Mac.
I would call myself Mac too if my middle name.
No, I would call myself Mike.
McCorkle?
His name's Michael.
McCorkle.
But he went with McCorkle.
No, you went with Mac.
But would you go for the nickname of McCorkle or just Mike?
I don't know.
This is a big issue. You guys have a quarterback who's named McCorkle.
Middle name.
I don't know that you'll ever win a Super Bowl with McCorkle.
Well, I'm going to blame Belichick.
And I don't think I'll ever call him Mac
because
Jones
I'm
again.
pretty sure when Belichick scouted him, he knew his full name. He drafted him anyway.
I don't know that I'll ever call him Mac Jones again. Will you?
Michael McCorkle Jones.
McCorkle.
Call sign Mac.
And McCorkle drops back. McCorkle's going deep. Picked off.
McCorkle with a McClunker.
You better put a McCorkle in it.
Put a McCorkle in that. Anyway, that's so bad.
That is really bad. We just stumbled upon a gemstone.
Oh my God! Somehow we transitioned from the Red Sox pulling away from the Yankees to this Belichick argument, which we will continue after the break.
Well,
we're going to take a break on it.
Okay.
Because I have to digest this whole McCorkle. He just dropped a bomb on me, okay? And he didn't mean it.
Unknowingly.
Unknowingly. He didn't do it on purpose, but I have to digest this whole Michael McCorkle Jones crap. Because right now I'm befuddled. I'm disheveled. I'm flustered. I'm flustered. I'm totally flustered. So there's only one way to solve this. We're going to go solve it. We're going to be back for the second. We're going to pick this up again with McCorkle. And we're going to see if the Red Sox can hold on. You get a nice frosty beverage or that dessert you've been holding on to all night, but waiting for us to finish so you can take a break. Because I know we're on the edge of your couch right now. I know. So, but you do that. We'll be back in a short. We'll pick up where we left off. McCorkle and can the Red Sox hold on? We'll be back shortly.